Hey, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be working on getting an oil change done on my 2002 Ford F150 5.4, and basically just going to get down to it here. What you'll be looking at for the drain plug on this thing, it's supposed to be a 16 millimeter on this, and they put it in a decent spot. Got this cross member that kind of goes over here that almost kind of blocks it, but you can get anything down here to kind of break that loose. It's not that big a deal. Oh yeah, I don't want to make a mess on my garage floor here. Hopefully I don't drop that washer somewhere and have to go dig through it either. Oh yeah, there we go. Well, there she goes. And she's draining. Well, I'm going to catch you guys up front there, and I'm actually going to go through and we're going to do the, we're going to look at that oil filter there and get that taken care of. It's really not so bad. I know that's kind of like a little bit of a problem on these, especially if somebody's kind of sort of just cranked it on too tight or something, and then you go back to do an oil change again, and it's kind of a pain. You have to get a wrench in there or whatever, but I was the last person to install this, so I'm not really going to have that issue. Oil looks really good. It's not milkshakey or anything like that. I actually have done head gaskets on this truck a couple thousand miles ago. So yeah, I'll meet you up front. I figure I'll mention this. Basically, and this goes with anything you do an oil change on. If you take that cap out there, it kind of helps drain the oil a little bit quicker there. That's all that really does for you. And then down here, the old oil filter. A lot of people don't like this, where this is actually located, just because of the fact that it's way up there. Basically, if it's on there too tight, it's a pain to try and get that thing off there. But really, if you're reasonable when putting it back on after you're done doing an oil change, you don't really have an issue with this, just because of the fact of how easy it is to actually just, turn it. Alright, I went ahead, I popped the oil filter on there, and it gives me a little better chance of explaining getting this thing up and in there. There's a spot inside of this control arm where you can actually get your hand up under and actually get to the oil filter with your hand a little bit easier. It just kind of goes up and you can tighten it down real good. When you're pulling it out, there's a spot here on the differential that allows your oil to drain from it. I've already gotten this all done, so I could actually get up under just to demonstrate. That drains from here off the differential. It's a little plate there coming from that oil filter housing. It just makes it a lot easier. You don't spill oil everywhere. You don't have a big mess to clean up afterwards. It just kind of directs it. Unless somebody's removed it on yours, which I could see that being an issue. But it should be there, so you shouldn't have an issue with that. It should be an easy, clean up. You shouldn't have any kind of a mess. And then whenever it comes to putting the oil filter back up in, from my experience, if you don't pre-fill your oil filter, it's very easy to just kind of slide it over here, weasel it around, and then get it in and, thread it on. So basically, I like to just wipe off the drain plug, make sure it looks really good, there's no debris or anything like that on there before I stick it back in. This one looks brand new because it basically is. I did it right after I did my last oil change. I put this thing in there. So I mean, alright, basically what I do here is I'll just take a rag after this thing's done draining, and it's just basically down to a drip, so you're never really going to get much more out after that. It's pretty much done. And you'll take something and wipe that off there, that little surface, whatever. Get it clean, and then you take your old drain plug and just stick her back in. And wipe that off there. And yeah. Get everything off. Here's what we're using for oil here. We're going to be using a Motorcraft FL820S, which is the factory filter for a 5.4 Triton. Then you use 5W30 synthetic blend Motorcraft. That is what they call for from the factory. Alright, here's where we're actually sitting at here. I'm just above the max line. That was at like 6 quarts put in there. Put it right at that bubble there, right above. And basically I go from there, get it started and running, then turn it off, check it again. Alright, it's the next day here. Figured I'd want to make a proper outro to this. Drove this thing to work and everything. Oil level looks perfectly fine. I checked it before I went to work this morning. After I had it running yesterday, after everything settled. Got up this morning and checked it. Looks perfectly fine. Right at the level it should be. Checked it right after I got home from work. It's perfectly fine. It was a little over 6 quarts basically. It took to build the thing, but yeah. Yeah, it's just how you do a basic oil change on the F150 5.4 2-valve. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I could put on the channel. I do 4-wheelers, cars. This thing right here is an 88 C4. Not 2-port injection anymore. It's carbureted. It's got some goodies I threw on it over time. I've owned this thing for 5 years now. Vortec heads and a Summit 1103 cam. And it's a healthy running motor and everything. It gets around just fine. It's an automatic, but that's perfectly fine. It's no big deal there. But yeah, if you want to see more content like that and you know, 4-wheeler stuff, anything that's kind of fun like that. I even play video games and stuff. Yeah, just like, subscribe, comment if you want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you.